Hey, Hope. Today, instead of a full devotion, what I have is actually more of an announcement. But to kick that off, I just thought I'd read a verse out of Colossians. And it's Colossians 4, verse 2. Devote yourselves to prayer, being watchful and thankful. It's a pretty simple exhortation from Paul as he wraps up his letter to the Colossians. He says to them and he says to us that we should be praying. So we should be in this conversation with God. We should be talking with God, bringing him our requests, processing through life with him. We should be worshiping him as we talk with him in prayer. So we should be in this conversation with God. That's what prayer is. It's talking with him. It's listening to him. And he uses three kind of unique words in that exhortation. He says that we should be devoted, and then he says as we're praying we should be watchful and thankful. When we think about that word devoted, we often think about the way that a husband and wife are devoted to each other. They are given to each other. Like everything about them has become the others. We become one flesh. Devotion, that's kind of that idea that Paul is getting at here in prayer. He's saying we should give ourselves wholly to this conversation with God, talking to him and listening to him. We should have devotion in the way we pray. And then as we're praying, we're doing two things. We're being watchful and we're being thankful. Now, the way I'm taking watchful as I'm reading that is it's encouragement for us to be praying in a way with an expectation that God's going to answer. Now, I've definitely prayed prayers and I've walked away from that prayer and completely forgotten that I've asked anything, completely forgotten about it and moved on with my life. And that's not being watchful. Being watchful looks like asking God for something, talking to God and hearing from him, and then carrying that with us throughout the rest of our day. Looking for the way that God is going to answer that prayer, looking for the way that God speaks. It's praying with faith. And we're called to be thankful. Now, this morning, I had to do a little bit of discipline with Lewis, my son, and he had something he wanted. I said no to it. He ended up getting disciplined. The way he acted within the family was inappropriate, and in the whole process of being disciplined, he said, Dad, I have something I want to tell you. You're not a very good dad. And, kids just say whatever's on their mind. But what he was expressing there was his frustration with me because he didn't get what he wanted from me. He certainly didn't have a thankful heart. And sometimes we pray and we talk to God that way. We ask God for things, or we tell him what we're processing through, and we expect him to respond a certain way, a way that we like, a way that we want. And when he doesn't do that, rather than being thankful for the relationship and thankful for the conversation and thankful for the good plan that God has for us, we're angry at him and we say, you're not a very good God, or you're not a very good dad. But that's not how Paul instructs us to pray. He says we should pray, but we should pray with thankful hearts, even if God doesn't do exactly the thing that we were hoping he would do or expecting him to. So we're called to devote ourselves to prayer, to be watchful in prayer, and to be thankful as we pray. And I bring this up because tomorrow is the National Day of Prayer. And so to celebrate that, what we're going to do at Hope is we're going to host a good old-fashioned prayer meeting. I know it's been a while, but we're going to get together and we're going to do this in the parking lot of the church so we can still follow social distancing. We're going to separate ourselves by at least one full parking space. So we'll park our cars, and you can either stay in your car, roll the windows down, or you can get out of your car and stand at the front of your vehicle, and then we'll have a full parking space in between us. We'll circle up that way, and then we'll pray for our country. We'll pray for the local community that we're in, and we'll pray for Hope and its ministry moving forward. In all of it, we are looking to be devoted, we are looking to be watchful, and we're looking to be thankful. So I hope I get to see you there. That's going to be tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. We'll be praying in the Hope parking lot, separated and divided up with at least one car space in between us. So go in peace.